Hello. Today it is 90 degrees and we are experiencing a heat wave, like many of us right now. So I thought to keep things cool and not do anything too strenuous, I would show you what I feed our horses. This is actually requested a couple of times. Just to clarify, every horse is completely different from one another and they have different needs. So this isn't me showing you what your horse needs, but this is what I've found works for my horse. And then I've also been working with a nutritionist for my feed company that we use. I would highly recommend, if you're unsure about adding a supplement or like changing a grain or even just how much you're feeding your horse, I would highly recommend reaching out to the brand of feed that you use and asking their nutritionist, and they're so helpful. I worked with Cavalor and Tribute, and both experiences have been incredibly helpful for various different horses. So I thought it's always really fun to see what people feed their horses and how it works for different programs, and I thought I would share that with you. So before I go into making each and every feed, I'll just give you a little bit of a view of what our feed room looks like. So we have empty buckets on the top. There's an extra one here. Supplements, cat food, supplements, feed chart, more supplements, and then grain. Someone recently asked to show the setup of my feed bins. So these are just little like dollies that have wheels on them. They're just made of wood. It's slightly too big to be on the inside of the ring here. As long as there's enough feed in the bin to weigh it down, it works. But as soon as it starts to run low, it's hard to pull it because there's not enough weight pushing down, and sometimes the can will just slide off. Something else I wanted to mention is how important forage is to a feeding program. And so all of our horses are on free choice forage. So our hay that we offer them is mostly grass, second cutting with a little bit of alfalfa. And I also supplement other fibers into some of their diets, extra alfalfa for like the protein and then for their gut health. But they also are on pastures, some of them on 24/7 and then some of them for like 16 hours a day. And all the pastures also have grass. But if the grass is low or they're kind of grazed down to maybe an inch, I'll make sure to put forage hay out into the pasture so they have that to pick at as well. That's what I've found to be the most important part of a feeding program, is making sure they have access to the right forage. And if you're not sure about the hay that you're giving your horse, like if it meets their nutritional needs, you can actually send it off to have an analysis done. So that is my little announcement about forage, because that is the majority of a horse's diet is forage. And then I pick all of their feed with that in mind, making sure that it's really high in fiber, because that's what horses are really designed to eat, and really low in sugar and starch. But this will cover a wide range of horses. So you'll get a wide range from yearling, sporty, to retired, senior. One more tip that I have is, if you're not sure about the poundage for your grain in the scoops, because every grain is different, you can get a very cheap food scale like on Amazon. And I don't know, this is maybe $8, I don't remember, $12. When I start, I always measure it out on here first to make sure I'm measuring the right amount. And then from there, I can eyeball it and remember how much each one is. I think I'll start probably with our youngest, Teddy. Teddy is a yearling. He just turned a year old this past June, and he's Ruby's baby. So he is technically a German riding pony connemara. So an easy keeper, but he does need a lot of protein and a lot of calories to make sure he's growing evenly throughout his body. Teddy will get growth and Strucamix Senior. This is what my nutritionist recommended as a mixture for him. She said that he could be completely on this senior feed, which is really low in sugar and starch and is really easy to digest, but I'm more comfortable with, this is Tribute Growth, which is a pellet, and it is the low NSC, no molasses, because he needs to make sure he doesn't get too much sugar or too much starch. I love Cavalor, but their Pro breed, which is their mare and foal blend, is too sugary and starchy for horses that are on pastures in Michigan. So anyways, for Teddy, he will get 2 pounds of growth and 1 pound of Strucamix Senior. And it looks like this. I'll mix it up. And then to add on his dinner, I'm adding the Mad Barn Amenity pellets, just half a scoop, because I'm just introducing it to him. I want to make sure he gets enough nutrition. Because he's a pony, he gets pretty chunky pretty easily. So this seems to work really well for him. He's keeping his weight and he's growing really evenly. He'll get the same thing in the morning, plus also the amenity in the morning. Tia is the next horse I'm going to show you. She just turned 30 years old, quarter horse mare, and she has really good genetics. So she looks incredible, and she is usually an easy keeper, but as she's aging, her top line is dropped, which is totally normal. I want to make sure she gets enough calories, but doesn't have too much excess calories that she has like fat deposits on her neck or shoulder. I'm okay with her having like a big hay belly. She's not in any work. And I'm transitioning her onto Strucamix Senior, but I have a lot of Tribute Seniority to finish up. So this is the Tribute Seniority pellet, and it's untextured, and it's just the regular. They have a low NSC also, but she prefers this sweeter one. She was kind of getting tired, honestly, of this feed, so that's why I'm switching her to the Cavalor, because this one is just more appetizing to her right now. But I want to use this up, and if it's mixed, she eats it really well. Because she's an easy keeper, I will do 1 pound Strucamix Senior from Cavalor, 1 pound Tribute Seniority, and then she'll get a full scoop of the Amenity pellets. And this is what they look like. She eats that really well. If there are any changes in weather or any changes in her environment, I will give her this probiotic from Mad Barn. I've been using this for a while and it's really, really lovely. It works really well. So I'll give her some of this today because we're experiencing a lot of heat. Something I forgot to mention is in a heat wave or in winter, I will always make all of these grains into a mash so they get extra hydration, and then I'll add a electrolyte mix. And then here is Rowan. And like I said earlier, she gets fed 3 meals per day. Rowan is a 14-year-old Oldenburg, and she's in a lot of work right now. So that's why she's getting such a high calorie meal, but I'm trying to make it as good for her stomach as possible. She is an Oldenburg, but on her mom's side, it's mostly thoroughbred. So she is a really hard keeper. She's naturally like very lean. So she will get 2 scoops Strucamix Senior. And then over here, I have alfalfa. And this is actually this is the Stanley alfalfa, and they have a new like mini pellet that I really like because it soaks really quickly. I'll give her 4 scoops of the alfalfa, which equals 2 pounds. And then one of my favorite products from Cavalor. I also want to mention that I'm not sponsored by any of these brands, unfortunately. If they want to sponsor me, that would be great because I spend so much money on all of these products because I love them. This is Cavalor's Fiber Force Gastro. They have a regular one and then they have a Gastro blend that's specifically designed for horses that have like gastrointestinal issues, such as gastric ulcers, which Rowan has had in the past. This is such a wonderful like preventative, and it has all of this chopped forage. It smells like tea, like it smells so good. I'll give her 1 scoop of this, which is maybe like 3/4 of a pound because it's a bit lighter. She gets 1 scoop amenity. I'm gonna put the probiotic in here as well. And then another product I've been using for Rowan and Ruby is Mare Magic. And I'm gonna actually show you, I bought Mare Magic one time and then I reused the bag because the only ingredient in here is raspberry leaf. So you can get a big bag of raspberry leaf in bulk, like on Amazon, and this is actually organic, which is really nice. I just refill it with that. It's kind of like a cheap life hack, but this is just for their hormones. I'll give her 1 scoop. It smells so good. And I don't know if this actually does much. I've like personally noticed a difference, particularly in Ruby. It's not gonna do them any harm. I know a lot of people have success with like Regimate or more like specific things for hormones, but this seems to do the trick just for my 2 girls. They're not super marish and they don't have like a lot of hormonal stuff going on. So that's why I can use a lower maintenance product like that. The last ingredient to Rowan's dinner is this Mad Barn W3 oil. I give it to her just right now 50 milliliters. Eventually when she's in more work, I'll go back up to 100. I really like giving her an oil. Rowan really likes it. It doesn't have a smell because some oils have a really strong smell. And for me, I like to use the oil for Rowan in particular because I like to use it as a source of energy. She's really fit right now and in a lot of work, so she uses a lot of energy. I like to increase kind of the fat content that she is. That's also why I'm giving her the alfalfa to help her gain a bit of weight, a little bit of muscle, and just packing in the extra calories wherever I can in her diet, but in a way that doesn't exhaust her gut health. So in the end, it looks like this. She really likes this. I will soak it, make it really mashy, and then give this to her. She'll get the same thing for lunch, minus the amenity, the oil, and then her other supplements. So our next horse is Ruby. She is a 6-year-old Connemara mare, and she's a very easy keeper and also very high energy. So I try to keep her calories low, and I try to make sure that the feed I'm giving her isn't giving her excess sources of energy, because she just pulls energy out of like everything. So what works for her is I'll give her 3/4 the scoop, so 1/2 pound of Fiber Force, and then 1 scoop of amenity. And you can feed amenity without anything, and some horses really like it, but for some reason Ruby likes this better mixed with Fiber Force because she just loves Fiber Force. Plus she has had really mild ulcers in the past, and so giving her the Fiber Force is like a really nice preventative. If you don't have access to Fiber Force, I would also recommend a similar product called Outlast from Purina. And I actually have that, which is a pellet that looks like this. Horses really love it. It smells really good. The probiotic, and then Mare Magic. That's all she gets. She'll get the same thing minus the probiotic and the raspberry leaf for breakfast, and she loves it. She loves it dry, but she also loves it as a mash. She's not really picky. And Finn is just starting to be added to the feeding program because before he was on an all forage diet, which he did really well on, but he's in a little bit of work now, and I just give him 1 scoop of amenity and then a tiny bit of Fiber Force Gastro. and then that allows me to give him supplements like a probiotic or an electrolyte. He'll be 20 next year, I think, and he's a quarter horse, very, very easy keeper. Like, he is a bit too chunky right now, so that's kind of why he's in a work program, because he needs to lose a little bit of weight. But this will help him just be a bit more balanced in his vitamins and minerals intake, and then keep him happy and then healthy with his gut. That's all he gets. So here's just an overview of their feed. So that's pretty much it for their feeding program. I'm sure will change because it's changed quite a bit. Anytime, of course, I make changes, I do it very gradually. I think some of the most important things to keep in mind for developing a feeding program for your horse is making changes very gradual, making sure they have a lot of forage, and then speaking to a nutritionist or your vet and partner with a nutritionist to make sure that you're meeting the horse's needs. Making sure that you talk to your nutritionist about the supplements you're using, because sometimes you don't need any of these supplements. I know I used to over supplement my horses, and then when I spoke with the nutritionist, they were like, you don't need to do that. Like, they are meeting their needs from what you're giving them and then some, and that can be dangerous too. And I hope that this was helpful to you in some way, and I hope that gets you thinking about your own feeding program. I love watching videos of what other people feed their horse because it helped me develop the right programs for my horses. I hope this is helpful, and if you have questions about anything, let me know. And I'm excited to see what products that you guys really like for your horses and what you've been focusing on with your own programs, your own feeding programs. So I will see you in the next video. Hopefully we'll be out of this heat wave, and I really appreciate you spending this time with me. Bye.